Hi guys, this is Andrew, and this is a special little segment involving the Studio 4 digital workshop. Some people will end up with some plaster models. Their sections may look a lot like this. It may be much more efficient for you guys to use a different method to remake your model in 3ds Max instead of doing the lofting, because the lofting is much more useful to do stuff like the plaster within a condom model. This one is more of the balloons filled with air within a ice cream tub, basically. So what I've actually done is I've created all my sections, and I've actually aligned them up. So I know this might look a bit too perfect, but effectively what you can see is the contours of what the object would be. Now mind you, you guys probably will have a lot less than what I've got here, so I'm just going to delete every second one just to be more realistic. And done. So that's not communicating the object as well. So what we have to do is pretty much use primitives and booleaning to recreate the model instead of lofting. So what I would do is I'd use the geometry area with the standard primitives, and I would then create some spheres, and pretty much just line them up, and I'll use the various different move and scale and rotate elements to get them into place. And remember to sort of keep your eye on all the different views for all the elements that line up, or otherwise you might lose some of your perspective. So pretty sure that's what's happening there. And then I'm going to do this really large one over here. No, I've created a cylinder, my bad. So we can line that up. So sort of you're molding just standard primitives so that they fit the less standard shapes. So in this case I need to scale this in a particular direction, and then I might need to rotate and scale that. Now just pointing out, the default gizmo for everything is going to be set to view. If you want to be able to control something, in this case if we want to be able to scale this based on the object still, if we drag this down and select local, it means we can now scale it based on its original axis, instead of, if we have it set to view, we'll only be able to scale it in the view's x, y, z coordinates. If I set that to local, I can now rotate and scale that into place much easier. And when you go to rotate, if you set that to local as well, you'll notice that the rotate, as you rotate it, the x and y plane will move as you rotate it. So that's quite useful to see happening in real time. Sorry for my voice. So now I need to reposition that in 3D, and I've actually done it the wrong direction. So I just get that. So if we just assume that I've only got 3, maybe I'll just do this last one. This one looks quite easy to do. if I assume that I've only got 4 balloons within this square box, all I need to do now is Boolean union these together, and I'm going to use a special Boolean unlike what we used before. In this case we're going to use an element called pro-Boolean, and you just have to be really careful when you use pro-Boolean because it's undoable. So if you select pro-Boolean, before you actually start anything, make sure that the operation under the parameters is set to the operation you want it to do, or otherwise you won't actually be able to fix it up easily later. So in this case I want to union all of these together, so I've set it to union, and then if I select start picking, I can select quickly all the 4 spheroid shapes to union them all together as one. So now that's one single object. Now to create the box that we're going to cut these out of, just go back to the standard primitives area and we can create a box, and it's quite easy just to line this up, don't even need to use snaps, and position that in place. And now if I just select these two just to demonstrate, I'm just going to hide all the contour lines that I'd made. Now all we have to do is select the box and use the standard selection method to create the Boolean that will cut those holes out of the box, very much like the way that we would see that in the plaster model. Okay, so this is much more efficient way of creating this model, creating these types of Swiss cheese models that we would get with the multiple balloons within a box instead of the single elongated balloon / condom model that we would get with two condoms. So have fun with this, guys. Sorry I wasn't able to teach this in class. This was more of a response based on a few students who actually had some plaster sections that were workable, so say thanks to them, or otherwise I probably wouldn't have created this. So have fun with it, guys.